Keep it real with y'all. Why are y'all continuing to have kids that y'all can't afford? That's the reason why I'm not having kids, because I can't fucking afford it. Why would I have a child that I know that I can't fucking afford everything that that child needs? Do you know how much formula is? Drop it in the comments. Drop how much formula is. Drop how much mothers pay for formula a week, a month, diapers, wipes, childcare. Oh my God. And then you making me send my child to school, because if I don't send the child to school, that's neglect. But then you telling me if I don't have enough money to feed the child, then y'all not gonna feed the child. So my child is just gonna be in school for 8 hours hungry, or given a cold ass sandwich. Them the reasons why I don't want to have kids. Please tell me the reasons why you don't want to have kids as a woman living in this day and age in 2025, because I have so many reasons why I don't, but I really want to see what other people's reasons are. Please tell me.
I know that the child-free content triggers a lot of people or bothers them, but the reason why it's so important is because up until very recently, it was not allowed. Women did not always have the choice to be child-free, and that is why it is important that we keep talking about it and keep reminding women, but especially young women, that they do have that option. It sucks, but we do live in a patriarchy and we do live in a capitalist system, and women are expected to have children, whether they actively want to or not. Even if they do want children, they are often not able to make that choice in their own terms. My mom didn't have me until she was 40, and she always tells me how all throughout her 20s and 30s, people harped on her about how she was making the wrong choice, how she wasn't going to feel fulfilled until she had children. And this is a prime example of how women are expected to have children, especially at a young age, and how people will make them feel like they are constantly making the wrong choice until they do that. That's why I think it's so important to continue to show young women that they do have the power to choose, and that it is okay whatever you decide to choose, but especially if you decide to go against the patriarchy and choose to not have children. Also, for me personally, not having children is just my little FU to capitalism by choosing not to give it another worker.
So you say no matter how many mountains, beautiful castles, rocky hills, sandy beaches, and starry nights you see in 20 years traveling cannot compare to the first 2 minutes of meeting your child. It's a magic you'll never experience. It's a gift you'll never know the weight, and it's life that you'll never be able to understand. That is great, because that is something I don't want to understand. You said the weight of their life. That's heavy. I want a light life, so I don't want to carry another person's weight. And that's the beautiful thing about, life is different for everybody, and not everybody wants to have children. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm okay with not understanding that magic that you feel, because that magic is for you to feel and not for me. Thanks.
Them nights I don't have them children, what that girl say, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Come on, baby, don't play with it. Yeah.
I'm child-free by choice, and dating was not the easiest, but here's how I used to filter out the real ones versus the ones that really weren't about that life, so that you don't get trapped. And trapped is a joke. Obviously, you can leave at any point. First, check for the word maybe. He's like, maybe I want kids one day. I can see myself with kids, maybe. That's a no until further notice. Men who are truly child-free are not entertaining the word maybe, so that's a no. Second, check for consistency, and by consistency, I mean, does he change his tune when he's with you versus when he's with other people? Whether it's his family or friends, do they kind of make jokes and he just kind of is like, yeah, I could do that. If he's not consistent with you and other people, he's probably confused on his own stance. This next one is one of my favorites because it's scenario based. Does he cringe when he hears a baby cry? Or when he sees a cute kid, is he like, oh my God, baby fever time? If he sees a playground and he feels like he's ready to be drafted for NFL dad duty, I think you should be aware. One thing also is like, watch out for the you'll change your mind energy. Those types of people think that they can like manipulate or convince you that your decision is not good enough, and if you just give them some time, they will change their mind, which is not the case. And the last one I'm gonna say is, do not fall for the it's too soon to talk about this trick. It is never too soon to get on the same page about big stuff, whether that's relocating, location, buying a home, a big purchase, talking about kids, talking about pets. It's never too soon to get on the same page. So don't fall for that. Discernment is key. Ladies, listen to your intuition. You know how that man feels, okay? Don't lie to yourself. No gaslighting yourself over here. Thank you. Bye.
You know the beauty that I just realized of having no kids and no like real obligations? I just saw something I wanted to go do that's in Dallas and just came to the split decision. I'm driving to Dallas in the morning. I had no plans of going to Dallas until I just saw this right now and said, the flights was like $500 from Houston to Dallas. I don't know who they thought. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna drive to Dallas in the morning. And I can. Like, that's I love this.
One huge reason that I decided to never have kids is because I have never in my entire life met a man who was good enough to be the father of my kids. I've never once in my life met a man who was tall enough, who was stable enough, who was handsome enough, who was intelligent enough, who had the right features, who had the right family history, etc., to be considered to even be in the runnings to be the father of my child. And I'll never in my life forget one time one of my perpetual baby mama ex-friends asked me, well, why don't you have kids? We're about to be in our 30s, it's time. And I looked at her and I said, I've never met a man who's good enough to be the father of my child. This woman turned to me and said, oh, that part doesn't really matter. If you really want to be a mother, if you really want to have a baby, it doesn't really matter who the father of your kid is. You having the baby is the most important thing. I honestly had to stop being friends with her shortly after that because she felt some kind of way about that conversation. If you're a child-free woman and women with kids keep coming around you chirping about why you don't have kids, let them know that you actually have high standards for the man you might one day reproduce. That's why it's not been so easy for you like it has for them.
The happiest, long-lasting couples that I see are when they have no children. I literally had a patient about 3 weeks ago tell me that he's been married to his wife for 32 years, and he was like, I cannot stand children. I don't want to deal with the responsibility of children, and so therefore me and my wife never had any children. And he literally attributed that to one of the reasons why their marriage is so strong. If men were actually honest with themselves, they would understand that they don't want children, okay? Men do not want children because they're not having children. The woman is having the children, and the woman is raising the child. Everyone is always saying have a child. People need to change the definition of having a child and instead saying raising a child, because everyone's brain shuts off after a woman is actually pregnant. You're not just having a child, you're raising a child. And men are not thinking about the process of raising a child. Men are just thinking about saying that they're a father. They're not actively thinking of waking up in the middle of the night to go feed the baby. They're not actively thinking of having to drop everything that they're doing, leaving their workplace to go pick up their child from school because they were acting out or because they had maybe potentially gotten sick. And so what happens is that their frame of thinking is that everything is going to stay the same, because like I said in the last video, everything is staying the same for the man while the woman is pregnant, because he does not have to undergo any type of changes at all. So a lot of these men don't realize that you just gave life. There is no fucking way that you are going to be able to have a baby that you just had to have that can't even hold its head up straight, okay? doesn't even have enough understanding to realize that it has to open up its mouth to get fed food, because they love to reject having food when they're first born a lot of the time if they get very fussy. These men don't understand that they are no longer going to be the priority. They're not thinking ahead of that being the thing, because there is no way that a woman can use her own life to create and carry life and then still have enough energy from that process to sustain that life and be able to pour over what she was originally pouring into the man before that. For a lot of women, the harsh reality is that you're either going to choose to be a single mother, consciously choose to be a single mother, because a lot of women are in marriages and in relationships and you're still a single mother. You're still doing everything as if you were alone. So either choosing to be a single mother and have community, with whether it be with your family, whether it be with other women that are choosing to be single mothers, or you get partnered up with someone and you choose to just not have a child. Because at the end of the day, you cannot do it both. It's not going to work out in most cases both ways. You're either going to choose to be a single mother, be with a man, and have no children, okay? Point blank, period. That's really the only way that it is going to work out.
And another point I want to make is, okay, so I am extremely child free. I'm a woman who literally got her tubes removed at 26 because I don't want kids. I know I don't want kids. Like, there's no part of me that's ever going to want kids. I actually do have 2 dogs that I consider my children. I was not offended by Taylor Swift's song Wishlist being like 3 dogs that they call their kids, because right after that she says, I hope you get what you want. You deserve what you want. It's cool that you want that. But I just want this. Like, I don't want the same things as you, but I hope you get what you want. And truly, that's all we've ever wanted moms or people who have kids to say, is it not? Like, I want this, but I'm happy for you that you have this. I'm happy that you want that contract with Real Madrid. I'm happy, and I hope you get, that spring break that was fucking lit. I hope you are happy and get those 3 dogs that you call your kids and love them fully. That's all she's saying. I saw a child-free woman get on here offended because she has 3 dogs that she calls her kids, and Taylor Swift said that. As if after Taylor Swift didn't say, like, you deserve what you want, I hope you get what you want, I'm rooting for you to get what you want. Like, why are you offended by that? Like, I think there's a lot of things in, like, the child-free space to be offended by. There's a lot of moms who are terrible child-free women. But a lot of y'all are like, yeah, this is just Taylor Swift feeding into trad wife propaganda. First of all, a lot of y'all just heard that word just now, and like those 2 words together, and you've decided that you're an expert on it. Trad wife propaganda really is, and I'm not even an expert on it, but trad wife propaganda really is trying to convince, 17, 18, 19 women in their 20s that having kids, having a husband, having no career goals, and literally their whole life revolving around having a man's kids and taking care of that man is all they should do. That is trad wife propaganda. Trad wives do not have jobs. They do not do anything but serve their husband and their children. Any social media stay-at-home mom that you see on here that does social media and makes a living from it, not a trad wife. Any woman you see that has a work-from-home job but also stays at home with her kids, not a trad wife. A woman who is 35 years old, dated around, had tons of experiences, met all her career goals, and never took the bait for getting married young and having kids young, and instead waited until she found the right person and is now ready to settle down and do those things, is not a trad wife. I would say that most trad wives and most people that subscribe to trad wife propaganda or super uber conservatism that falls into hate Taylor Swift. They hate the message that she's given to women that they can wait until, they're in their 30s and they've met all their career goals and all this stuff to settle down and get married and have kids. And Taylor Swift also is always going to be richer than her husband. That is like
the exact opposite of what a trad wife is. A trad wife doesn't even have her own money, honey. Most of the time. Again, if a trad wife has their own money, they're not really a trad wife. That's not really, yeah, they're not really a trad wife. Her saying that she wants, you know, a husband and kids is not trad wife or conservative propaganda. As someone who's child free and doesn't love kids and doesn't want them and wants nothing to do with them, somebody saying that they want to get married and have kids is not something we get to moderate. Like, all I really want as a child-free woman is for people to respect my decision. Like, respect my decision and not call me jealous because you decided to do one thing and I've decided to do another thing with my life. Like, I want to travel and really just live my life for me and nobody else. That's me. Somebody else saying that they want to have kids and that look like their husband doesn't mean that I can't get what I want. And that's literally what she's saying. She's saying, I want everyone to get what they want, but I just want y'all to know that this is what I want. And I really hope I get it because I think, you know, I deserve it. And I think I've done everything else. This is what I want now. Like, y'all have got to stop using these, like, big words, like trad wife propaganda on a woman who's probably the devil to actual trad wife conservative families like that. Like, they hate that woman. You know what I mean? Like, and like, as a child free woman who has made tons of videos and criticizes moms all the time and criticizes people who want kids all the time, I would say Taylor Swift's almost the exact opposite of the women that I criticize. You know, there's a good chance that she's not going to have, 20 baby daddies. There's a good chance that, she's planning to get married before she even has kids. She's also very easily able to take care of those children and give them everything that they want in life because she has a lot of money. And she does. She has a nice supportive family. Like, these are not the talking points. And, like, I don't really understand why any child-free woman would be offended because it's not like she said calling your dogs your kids is a bad thing. She was just saying, like, you want three dogs that you call your kids. Instead of having like actual children, like, you want 3 dogs that you call your kids. And yeah, I have 2 dogs that call my kids. I was not offended by that. Anyone that was, you were just looking for something to be offended by. Let's actually look at the politicians who want to make being child-free basically a crime in this country. Like, I need y'all to start having the same energy you have for Taylor Swift and her lyrics that when you go to the voting booth, when you listen to the news, when you vote for your representatives, when you pick apart your representative. Like, these are the people I'm actually critical about because they're the ones making the laws and the big changes in our country that are either really harming us or could really help us. I'm looking at, the politicians that are trying to take away women being able to even do things like I did and get their tubes removed. I'm much more worried about that in child-free women than I would ever be for a pop star saying she can't wait to get married and have kids with her soon-to-be husband. Like, I just don't care. Some of y'all take everything out of context and wonder why you're miserable. And see, that's why I'm not miserable like you because I didn't take that as anything other than, like, you want this, I want this, and I hope we both get what we want because we both deserve to get what we want. Get the stick out of your ass.
Please remember, Black women, the church has a vested interest in making sure that you don't go on a self-love journey or decenter men. Remember, you guys were the ones who were paying their bills. You were the ones who were tithing. You were the ones who were dragging those men to church. So now that you are deconstructing your mind and maybe deconstructing your religious practices because we found the Black Christian church, specifically toxic ones, are very misogynistic, or you're no longer centering men, so you're not praying to God for that man who has been stringing you along for the last 18 years of your life to finally become a better person. You don't need to go to church to pray for that. The church is losing money. If Black women decide to stop going to the Black church will not exist. They have a vested interest in reminding you that you need to keep going out, keep making babies with black men, keep begging for some type of man, specifically a black man, to want you, and keep realizing that you are just not good enough, but you're almost there in the eyes of God.
It is so funny how they do that shit. I remember when my mom first married my stepdad. I told y'all about him. He's like 29 years older than my mother. I was around 8 years old. And from the time that they got married, all I heard him say was that I was going to end up pregnant by the time I was 15. If I had $1 for every time I heard him say it, heard my mom say it, heard my aunts and uncles, my cousins say it, they all were so sure that I was going to end up being a teen mom. What's funny is my stepdad had this like granddaughter or whatever. Her name was Chandler. And, you know, they got divorced when I was like 12 or whatever. And so my mom ended up coming to me one time when I was 15 and was like, hey, so turns out Chandler is pregnant. And Chandler was the same age as me. And so I was like, oh, so it wasn't me that was going to end up pregnant at 15. It was his fucking granddaughter that they weren't paying attention to at fucking all. It wasn't even me. And if we're going to get technical here, my sister, my little sister, she got pregnant as a teen at 19. They never not once ever said that she was going to end up pregnant or called her fast or said that she was going to end up being a teen mom. They never worried about her. They were always focused on me. I did not lose my virginity until I was 19 years old. And look at me now, 25, still never been pregnant, never will be pregnant, bitch. Y'all were worried about the wrong motherfucking one.